Hey everyone. So we have a project. We got a redwood tree from Aunt Barb's house, and we're going to turn it into some kitchen countertops, some shelving, and a few other things. So we're getting all our tools together. That's a laundry basket full of sawing
What are we doing
tools.
today?
So right now I'm going to trim the notches so we don't get stuck on them.
This is the piece of wood we are working with. What kind of wood is this?
Redwood. So we'll take that off too. I'm gonna cut it.
Okay, here's the before, everyone.
Okay, stand back. So you want the chain tight because we're going to be at an angle, and if the chain is loose it'll fall off. So let's see if we can take some of these notches off. When you're milling, you want a smooth surface. Any bumps like those notches and twigs sticking out will create uneven surface. So we want to try to cut those down even with the wood, so it's just less of a bumpy area, more of a smooth area for a better cut. See how that end is small? This is big because it's a tree and it grows big at the bottom. So I'm going to try to trim this down a little bit. So I'm trimming the sides a little bit. At the trunk it gets really wide, and I wanted to create some conformity. We are using green power. So I'm kind of sizing up the log to see where the best cuts are going to be. Obviously it's going to be the core, but there's also going to be a couple awesome cuts right before the core. And full disclosure, I did not cut this tree down. I hate leaving jagged edges like this one at the end, but it's okay. I'll make it work. So now that I've made the cut, I'm going to start removing, which is mainly the bark. And so I'm putting a pry in it to get the bark away. This one is not a finish hammer, it's a carpenter hammer, and it's pitted so that when you hit the nail, it grabs onto this and really drives it in. But it's not a finish. But we're going to use this one. We're going to make some of these later because they sell these for like 20 bucks. Crazy. So I'm trimming the bark, but I got a little bit of the redwood, and so that's why it's so hard to pull it apart. It's actually really strong fibers. And there it goes. So now it's nice and clean. So we're going to put this board, this is an oak board, and we're going to put it on top as a guide. Look at that, just a few extra screws. Well, I'm going to screw the board on the log. I'm going to put this on top of the board and use the board as a guide that's smooth.
Okay.
And there's a million different ways to do this. Same result. So remember, this end is a trunk, a little bit wider at the bottom. So I'm just trimming off a little bit of this trunk so that the board is a little bit more leveled with the tree instead of flaring out at the end.
What brand is this?
Husqvarna.
Sponsor us.
It's Husqvarna, this badass. 572 XP. Right now we have a 36-inch bar and chain on it. And it's about as big as they get before you get in a big commercial. And they call it the X-Tough. This is probably one of the most important parts when you start that cut, trying to get it level, especially on the first cut. I'm watching the shavings right now. If it's powder, you're not doing it right. You want kind of good chunks. Bigger the chunks, the better the cut. You'll see there's a red splint at the end of the tree, and you do want to splint the wood as you're cutting so it doesn't bind. Ideally, you'd put it in equal amounts. Okay, watch the magic come alive.
Wow.
This piece is about 24 inches wide to 26 inches by 9 to 10 feet long. And we're getting ready to cut our first good piece. That's about an inch thick. And that'll probably be a shelf. So when you get to the end, you want to try to make sure that you don't tear off. It's a bad habit of doing. We have reached the core. It's the most solid piece of the wood, and this will be the countertop, the core piece. The core piece is also the center, and each ring has a story, and all those rings are different color depending upon the drought and what was happening in that time frame. It's kind of cool to get a little history. This piece here is a 4-inch thick by 25-inch wide by 9 feet long. I'm getting towards the end of the cut, and I always get kind of a little bit lazy, and you see me doing a little bit extra cutting all at the end, and that's not really good because it kind of thins the end of your piece out. I was wondering how I was going to get this wood stack, but Jacqueline, my daughter, gave me a hand. Look, I can't even lift this up. So I lifted it up, and I had her put the piece under to help me finish milling. So we're getting towards the last couple pieces, and thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.
High five.
I kicked ass.
Woo!